there everybody, and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 1989 film Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, Better Watch Out. And this is directed by Monty Hellman and stars Samantha Scully and Bill Moseley. This tells the story of Laura, a blind woman with psychic powers who may have a telepathic connection to Ricky Caldwell, the killer from the previous movie. I gotta be honest guys, this was a first time watch for me. After seeing the first couple of movies a fair few times, I never actually got round to this one, but I had heard a few people say it wasn't a very good movie and it actually might be the worst in the entire franchise. So I went into this not expecting much, and sometimes you can come out the other end feeling like it wasn't as bad as other people were saying, but a lot of the time, then people are usually right as well. So what did I think of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, Better Watch Out? Let's find out. Now, first off, I gotta say I appreciate the different take on story here. The first two films tried to do the same thing. The first one does it a lot better than the second one, but I didn't really want to see that again. And this one, you know, it kind of felt like an ambitious story here that wanted to go in a brand new direction, and I was up for that from the start. Now, Ricky is played by Bill Moseley here. Thank God we didn't have Eric Freeman playing this guy again. I mean, I think Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is a one and done, and that's fine. If you want to go and see some bizarre acting, you watch that movie. But they have sort of put his brain back together here after him being virtually dead in the second movie, and they're keeping him alive in a coma because there are people out there with telepathic powers who can connect with other people, and this doctor is trying to search for someone to connect with Ricky so he can study on him a little bit more. Now, that might sound a little bit too complex and stuff, and it is, but again, like I said, I just appreciated something different here, a different take on things, and something that, you know, was going to go slightly down a different path with a same character that we have used in the first two films. My biggest fear though was thinking, is this going to be a little bit too out there, and is it going to be a little bit difficult to follow because they're going to try too much? But after about 15 minutes, this movie just sort of levels out a little bit there and becomes a stalker, serial killer type story where the average slasher fan will just be easily able to follow it. And you know what? It was quite well paced as well. And the movie does contain some likable characters as well. We are soon introduced to the main protagonist's brother, Chris, and his girlfriend, Jerry, who are very likable characters. You know, they look like a solid couple who are just totally in love, and they're in their happy place. And I really didn't want any harm to come to them, and I didn't want Ricky to get one over on them, who seems to be hot on their tail. And this one definitely feels like more of a Christmas movie compared to the second one, which totally forgot it was a Christmas movie until the last 10 minutes. These characters are going to stay with their turkey cooking grandma around Christmas time, and you know, there's all houses are decorated like Christmas and stuff. And we also have some dream sequences, which I'm not a massive fan of, that contain killer Santa Clauses and evil Father Christmases. So, you know, I'm glad they went back to the Christmas roots, even if it's not a fully feeling Christmas film. You know, there are moments here and there that make you that remind you that it is a holiday slasher. However, guys, this movie also comes with a ton of problems. The people who said it wasn't a very good movie, I will see what they were saying here, because this story that they're exploring at the start of the film sort of forgets what it's going for, really. And it just doesn't know what to do with itself. We are never really explained why Laura has this connection with Ricky. You know, we never really get into the depths of what they were trying to explore. It just basically sets it up and then goes into something different. Like I said, a serial stalker slasher movie. And it just felt like it was basically an excuse for Ricky to have some new prey so he can escape this hospital and come after someone who he's got a connection with, really. It really didn't all come to fruition towards the end, which was really sad. I really didn't like the main protagonist of Laura, I've got to admit. She's the blind woman in this movie, and I don't get why she's blind. It brings nothing to the story whatsoever. Maybe she was just blind, I don't know, but I thought there would have been a reason behind it, but no. She does play the blind character very well. She looks like a blind character and stuff like that. I think she got that nailed down. But it's her personality. She's not a very nice person. She, for some reason, hates her brother's girlfriend, Jerry, who was the most likable character in the movie. She wasn't very nice to her whatsoever. And I was just thinking, man, I can't really get behind you as a protagonist because I really don't like you myself. And I really wish the movie would have switched it up a little bit there and made Jerry the more final girl instead of Laura. But yeah, the movie was asking you a lot to, sort of attach yourself to this character, and I just couldn't. Let's just talk about the character of Ricky here, played by Bill Moseley. My God, here is the polar opposite of Ricky we see in the second movie, because he's kind of like this vegetable now. He's just walking around like a zombie going, ooh. He's got this like transparent bowl like feature on his head where you can see his brain. It looks absolutely ridiculous. And Bill Moseley has had a lot of parts in horror movies, but my God, this has got to be the least he's ever had to do. I think he only utters a word towards the end of the movie. It's mainly just, oh. So the only interesting thing about him was the look of him, and I don't mean that in a good way. Also, quick side note, what is the point of keeping Ricky alive? There are plenty of serial killers that these doctors can sort of investigate and try and get to the bottom of to with conversation or whatever. I mean, really going through all that trouble of putting this mangled brain back together, it just really didn't make sense. And the movie, like I said, didn't explain it anyway. And there is one moment where a police officer is introduced in this movie, this detective who actually shot Ricky, and he didn't even know that he'd been brought back to life. Good Lord. Also, the kill scenes here are just 90% off screen. We just basically see Ricky walking towards someone, a camera zoom of a shocked face, and then the aftermath of what has happened if you're lucky. Sometimes we don't even get that. And that was a real disappointment, because sometimes at least you can have fun with the creative kills and stuff. Slasher movies live off that. But here, they were just very, very bland and forgettable, and just brought nothing to the movie. I mean, I don't know if they didn't have the budget or it's heavily cut or whatever, but I don't even recall seeing many kills in this movie because they are just cut as soon as they're about to happen. I've just got to talk about the death scene involving Ricky. At one moment, he is blasted from close range with a shotgun, and he just lies down and then gets up like the Terminator from Terminator 1 after he's been shot out that Technar window. And next minute, he is killed with a wooden stick shoved through him. This little tiny thin stick, yeah, that's what kills him, not the shotgun blast. Maybe he's a vampire all along or something. But I just feel like this is a real missed opportunity, because the obvious thing to do would to be mash that bowl on his head and mash his brain back in. That would have been such an awesome death scene. But no, just this little stick will do the job. Good Lord, what a disappointing end to a very disappointing and dull character across 3 movies. I've got to admit, there are some scenes in this movie that just basically are doing nothing and just feel like filler. Now, I weren't lying when I said the movie was well paced, because I don't think this movie dragged for me, really. It kind of flew by, but there were certain moments where I was just like, what are we doing here? Like, Chris and Jerry might be fooling around in the bathtub, and then they'll come out and sort of eat dinner at the dinner table. I'm like, what is this bringing to the film, though? Or there'll be moments where Laura, who's trying to find her way around the house and feel around for about 5 minutes, and it's like, okay, so where's this going? And next minute, we're just on a different scene. It just felt like there was no story development happening in a lot of these scenes, which for me is just, that's poor writing, man. Overall, guys, this is just a movie that had an ambitious start and just totally forgot what it was doing. It is bogged down by a lot of problems, but I did prefer it a little bit more than Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. I thought this was a little bit more watchable than that movie, because at least it tried to do something instead of just rehashing the first film in a hell of a lot worse way. So yeah, I can see why people don't like this movie at all. I wouldn't say I hated it, but man, it is not a very good movie. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now, guys. I'm going to give Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, Better Watch Out, a 3.5 out of 10. Man, you better watch out indeed if you start this franchise. Okay guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 is that director Monty Hellman attended a screening of this in 2008 at the Alamo Draft House in Texas, I believe, and he actually got up and said he thought this movie was his best work. Not his best movie, but his best work. Whatever way you want to incorporate that. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. Don't forget to check out my Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 and Part 1 reviews, which I'll leave in the link down below. What are your thoughts on Silent Night, Deadly Night 3? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Do you think it's terrible? Do you think it's watchable but still bad like me? That was kind of my summary. Let me know and I'll get back to you all, I promise. Thanks so much everyone. You all take care and I'll see you on the next video.